Getting the jam on, huh, Rob?
Just get the energy up in the room a little bit.
There you go.
Hey, Mr. Charles, how you doing?
Good, Rob. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. That's right. I got for your video that you do, would you have time on the 20th of this month for maybe a 5 or 10 minute segment?
Sure.
Give me a second, Charles. Hold on. 27th. I apologize.
27th. Got it.
Good morning, everyone. Just getting everything started.
Going with the Little Black Sabbath.
Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Such good acoustics.
I just want to see Ozzy's listing presentation.
I honestly can't believe that guy's still alive.
I can't either, but he is. And
Miracle.
well, that's awesome.
All right. Oops. Morning, Terry.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning, Meg.
Oh, good. You could tell it was me without my picture. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's all good.
Is that? I figured it could be because I talk too much.
No.
Part of my charm.
Part of your charm. We'll get started in just a couple of minutes here.
Okay, I'm ready. So who here has been vaccinated completely? Anybody?
I get my first shot on Monday, the 12th.
Oh, good, good.
I got-
vaccinated. Yeah.
I got both my shots. Yeah.
All right, me too, but my husband has none. So what's the point?
Does he just not want to, or they just hasn't been able to get in?
You know, he is that in between age, right? Because he wasn't over 75 and he wasn't like one of the, the teacher. Like I only got it because I'm a teacher,
Yeah.
Oh, good point.
My husband has been trying to get an appointment for his 93-year-old mother.
Oh, wow.
And the challenge has been is that she, we can't drive a distance with her. It has to be relatively close, and she lives near Willow Glen.
All right.
So yesterday he was able to get a hold of someone that does like mobile vaccinations for the elderly or shut in. So she's on a list for them to call her in 2 weeks to see if they can get her on an appointment.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That
She's
is
got to
crazy.
find a different doctor. I mean, I would think her doctor would be like, get your butt in here. I'll
Yeah,
do
well,
it
she's
myself."
she's on Medicare and she's with like whatever Sutter Health or whoever that is, and so
Uh-huh.
my husband's the one who has to be on the phone doing it, and he's just like it's like all day long. He's frustrated. I go, well, honey, I heard if you set your alarm and got up at 3 a.m, and he goes, and he said something like, well, I don't know how that's supposed to happen. I go, on our phone we have an alarm, but I'm like,
Yeah, but it's sad because when I was at Levi's, I got my first shot at Levi's, and then I got a notice that my second shot was canceled because I'm with Kaiser. And
Oh,
so
wow.
then I had to deal with Kaiser, and they are booked up for months, right?
yeah.
I had to drive to San Francisco, which at the time I thought, oh my God. But now I'm like, it could have been worse because now my husband's looking at Fresno, Sacramento in order to go there to get a vaccine. That's
Oh,
crazy.
geez.
It is. That's what I'm hearing too.
Yeah.
Is that people are having to drive.
To drive
Yeah.
go to the red parts of the state
Yeah.
that aren't using their vaccine or whatever. I don't know. It's crazy.
But I know there's people on all different sides of vax and anti-vax and stuff like that. But I was thinking this morning, I'm like going, okay, so people eat junk food, they drink alcohol, they might partake in some other types of things, but yet they don't want to get vaccinated because they might get something bad.
Why are you looking at me when you say that, Terry?
Oh, Charles, we love you.
And you tell Robert that when he's up in the middle of the night taking one of his potty breaks, to stay up and get on the damn phone.
Just walk over by that computer, have it all ready. All he has to do is punch a button and it's on the website. Something easy.
And that's funny what you were saying, Meg, because my daughter works over in the city, so her Kaiser doctor is in the city, and they scheduled her for Santa Clara.
Oh my God, that's crazy. That's so nuts. That's
crazy.
Kaiser for you. A lot of good and a couple of screwed up parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, I love Kaiser, just not
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
It's not their fault. I talked to the poor girl that tried to schedule me, and she was almost in tears because
Oh.
every phone call is the same.
Yeah.
Right? I'm supposed to have a vaccine. There's no available appointments for months. And she's just in tears because, everybody's all upset. What do you mean there's no available appointment? That poor girl was, and I'm like, it's okay, honey. I understand. Don't worry.
Yes, they can only make appointments for available vaccine.
That's
doses.
right. That's
So if they
right.
don't get the doses, and then you hear all these stories about people of affluent areas that are getting special treatment and yada yada yada.
Yeah,
Eventually,
why aren't we in that? I thought we were in the most expensive area of the United States. Shouldn't we be able to do this? Seriously?
we'll take it offline. I could talk all day long about this, Meg.
All right, ladies. Yeah, we'll get it started. It's all good though. It's good. It's good to talk and participate. See what's going on with everybody. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. I want to show you all something new that Crystal has put together for us. Let's go to that page so I can actually see. Okay. So do you guys see like what looks like a web browser? Okay. So linktree.kwsv is where we'll put our calendar, so you guys will have access to that all the time. The chat classes, we'll update that each month. We've had people, ask for second languages. You may have that client where you need some help with that. Agents that are available for open houses. Some agents are looking for showing agents, so we've got a list of those. The KW Connect live streams, so you can go there, and then our vendor list. And we'll add more in the future, but it's just a nice, simple, clean format that when people are asking us for the same thing over and over again, they can go to one location and get everything.
Is this going to have the links for the meetings that happen for us?
Good question. Let me see. Yes. Thank you for asking. So
Very
good question.
The whole calendar. I see.
So the whole calendar. Now this is the tricky part. This is super tricky. So watch me. So on the right-hand side, there's this little button here. It says show more. Boom. There you go. And these are all of our events. So you just click on these and it'll take you to the registration or take you to the event.
Can we make show more bigger, like a giant font?
Why is it so
She's
small?
working on it. She's working on it.
I think it is big just because your screen is being shared, Rob. It looks kind of small, but when you open it up on the actual site, it's pretty large.
It's pretty good size.
It'll fit your screen.
Well, it looks like standard show more though. That's what I'm saying. Like people are going to miss it.
Oh, they're totally going to miss it.
Yeah.
I can probably make it as big as a stop sign and people will still miss it.
Just because we had a hard time fitting in all the actual links inside the days of the calendar. So Crystal thought that this was the best way, just to click on the show more, the radio button, and then everything will populate within the days. So
we'll play with it. But now, like you said, Cindy, then you'll have one location you can go to and all the links are there. So you don't have to go scrolling through all your emails. You can just bookmark this, the link that I just showed you. Cool. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the chat for you. And any suggestions, please feel free to email Crystal, because this is a new rollout for us. So we just want to make sure that it's of value to you guys. And back to my screen. And as you all know, or not all, but maybe you all know now, Bold is coming very soon. And so instead of me telling you what Bold is all about in the new format, I've invited Carl Batiste, who a lot of you know, who will be the teacher, to tell you more about this new format of Bold that's coming out and answer any questions for you.
Great. Hey, Rob, thanks. Can you hear me all right, everybody?
Yep.
Okay. So some of you have been in the live Bold classroom with me. I can see the names, and I know many of you have been. And then, of course, we went to the craziness of this whole pandemic, and we ended up going into Pivot, which was you sign up for Bold and you're in a ocean of people, of 40,000 people, and it's really challenging because you don't feel like you get any real one-on-one type coaching or small group coaching and masterminding. So as we are in the world of getting vaccinated, and as we are in the world of hopefully moving back to semi-normal, this is the intermediate step that we're taking at MAPS to get people back into a smaller environment. So this room will be no more than 150. My guess will probably be somewhere between 80 and 100, which is a standard Bold room. And there will be teams, just like we regularly have, and it'll be Zoom though. So you'll be broken out on teams, and everybody will be able to, when you do your team thing, everybody goes into a breakout. However, the cool thing about it is it's only gonna be 3 hours every Thursday for 6 weeks from 9 to 12. And it's not going to be the full 7 days like in a room. And I know we would all love to get back to the room. I would totally. I thrive on that energy. And yet this will be great because first of all, I love the fact that they asked me to do it. We only have 20 of these nationally that are launching right now because they want to see how well it is. And they asked me if I would take this. And I'm thinking, yeah, this is like right in my own, this is like my backyard, right? These are my peeps, right? So I'm going to do this. 4 of them have already fallen out. So there's 16 nationally and there's only 1 in our region and this is it. So that's not a sales pitch. I just want to let you know though, that it's kind of like they're really looking to attempt to get back to live in October or January, which would be great. Okay, so the details, everything you wrote here is perfect. Change your thinking, change your world. Success is simple, not easy. Be, do, achieve, and don't mistake movement for achievement. And these bold rules are all, bold laws are what we always cover in bold. Bold will start on April 15th, which is a Thursday, and it'll be from 9 to 12. Unlike traditional bold, we're not doing 7 steps where you go for the first step and then kind of decide what you're going to do. You just sign up for this right away and you start step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 for the 3-hour window. It's $3.99. Now, some people say, well, gee, I signed up for Bold Pivot for $99 or $140 or whatever it was. It's a little different because you're actually going to really get the accountability and coaching that you would get if you were in my bold room, regular bold room, because we're not talking to 40,000 people. You're getting coached rather than taught. And you know there's a difference. I can teach Rob how to draw or play the piano or play the guitar, and I can coach him. Coaching him would be, no, your fingers need to do this. No, your finger needs to do that, right? If I just teach him, I can throw a download in and he can watch it. Well, that's really not coaching, right? Coaching is helping you get through things. So it'll be 9 to 12. The details are here. I do offer a student loan packet. I always offer it no matter if we're in the live room or not. So for the $3.99 bold, this is how it's going to work. So let's say you say, I want to partake of that. Then you come up with the first 200. Of course, I have to put the whole thing on my card because MAPS is not taking split payments for student loans at all. So I have to put the whole thing on my card. So I'm going to run a risk here a little bit. So you pay the first 200 and you would pay it to me. You would Venmo that to me. And then I will pay the other 200 all on my card. And then you pay me $40 every week for 5 weeks to come up with the other $200. So that way you can spend 200 and then spread out the other 200. That makes sense? Okay, if not, then you just go ahead and book it because the MasterCard Visa is right there. And so is the QR code as well. What will we cover? Well, we're going to talk a lot about how you think about your business, your mindset, understanding market of the moment, limiting beliefs, all the stuff that we typically are challenged with in real estate. And we're going to talk about your database. We're going to talk about building a database. We're going to talk about listings, buyers, all of that critical stuff. Scripts and dialogues are a big thing for me. I love scripts and dialogues, and we're going to make sure that we cover those pieces. And if you're somebody out there right now saying, oh, I hate scripts and dialogues, normally scripts and dialogues are something to hate if you use them 2 or 3 times, because then it sounds like a script and a dialogue, right? Once you begin to practice and understand them, all of a sudden now it becomes, wow, this is like really something that I can do, and it sounds natural, and I can close. When you can convert people, and I promise you, if you can understand how to connect with people and your skill is where it needs to be, you will convert higher than ever before. Because people want to do business with somebody they trust, somebody they think can help them, and somebody that they're interested in investing their well-earned cash in, actually, for the biggest transaction of their life. And guys, let's face it, when we're out there in the world, you're not competing with the seller and the buyer. You're competing with the other agents that have signs at the end of the road. So if your conversion skills and business skills and your mindset isn't equal to your competitor, they're going to beat you every time. So this is the best opportunity for you to master your craft going into summertime, because now we're going to be going into the second half of the year. So there's a great time to beef that up. What will be the limit of the class? 150. So Rob, so AJ, yeah, 150 is the limit. My guess is, though, the average is falling out to be about 100, anywhere between 90 and 100. I think we're at about 40 registrations right now with all the offices. Do me a favor, though, don't wait until the day of, because this will, in regular bold, we usually stuff people in the room. Rob, you've seen that, right? They come in last minute. KWRI is controlling the whole thing as far as the links. They will shut it down at some point. So I don't wait until the morning of and say, I'll sign up today. Get in there and just get your spot. The $3.99 isn't going to matter today any more than it is next week, right? So you might as well book it and get yourself a spot. Questions? So if you're interested in...
Hey, Carl, I have a question. Can I ask right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I had done that one session, initial session of Bold, which is just you go check it out to see if you want to do old or not.
Yep.
One of the things I felt was that I may not be able to get a little bit one-on-one attention. So my question to you was, let's say with 150, how do you give sort of one-on-one attention to 150 sort of people? That was my question. Yeah,
that's a great question, and I know some of you have been in the room with me before. I'm looking here. Terry, I know, Aubrey. I'm looking at some of the folks here. When we have discussion in the Bold Room, if you are discussing and you're actually part of the coaching and the discussion, you will get coaching because you're a part of the discussion. The flip side of that, AJ, is the people that sign up, whether it's online or whether it's in the classroom, some people will come in and they don't want to talk and they don't even want you to look at them. And I understand that. It's scary for everybody at a different place. If you participate at a high level, I'm going to interact with you. And I'm always going to say to you, AJ, hey, great question. Can I coach you? And you're going to say yes. And I'll always say on a 0 to 10, 10 being great, the highest, what level would you be okay with me coaching you? Rob's laughing because I think we've done that before, right, Rob? And if you say 10, then I'm going to be really honest about my coaching. If you say 5, I'll say, well, let's do it after class so I can do 10. So that's one of the answers, is participate. So when you invest, participate, that way you can take full advantage of it. Now, here's the other piece. I put my text up here. If you think you want to do the student loan program or you think you're going to sign up, you can text me and say, hey, I'm interested. And we can talk about that separate. By the same token, keep the number, because if you're in the Bold Room and let's say that you need like 15 minutes, we'll schedule the 15 minutes. I'm happy to schedule 15 minutes to say, let me walk you through what I meant by that. And the reason why I give it out, and Rob, I know I got to hurry up here because I'm going to take your whole team meeting. The reason why I do that, people say, why in the world would you give out your cell phone? Here's the part that is kind of sad. You give it out, people will log in, and some people will still not, right, participate at a super high level. So play to win. You're in the long game here. Real estate is the long game. Put yourself in so that you can invest in yourself. This is all about investing in yourself. 100%. So I hope that answered, AJ. To the level that you engage, you're going to get coached.
Good. Thank you so much, Carl. Yeah, that answered my question for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Terry, I've attended several Bolds and have witnessed agents having, absolutely, breakthroughs with tears. You don't know what belief you might have that's holding you back. And Terry, I love that because when you're in the bold room, whether you're on screen or in the room, I love the room better actually, because you can pass out the Kleenex box, right, Terry? Just kidding. But in reality, what happens is people start to invest in themselves at a very deep level and start to understand, wow, my biggest fear is X, and this is what's holding me back from closing 20, 30, 40 transactions. This is what's holding me back from closing 5 transactions. Whatever that may be, our limiting beliefs really tear us up. And a lot of times we sweep those under a rug and just pretend they're not there. And yet they show up in every single day. So you're absolutely right. The more you attend and the more learning base you become, the less you succumb to those things that you battle. And if one of them right now is, I don't want to sign up because I'm afraid to be in a room with a bunch of other people if I have to talk, push yourself through that, because you're in real estate. This is a contact sport. And when you push yourself past that point, I'm never going to, and for those of you that know me, and some of you in the room have been in my bold, I will absolutely never put you on the spot. I will never, ever, ever do that. So you'll never be in a place of being uncomfortable. I don't do that, and I won't do that. It has to be a safe place. Any questions? Thank you, Charles. Okay.
Cool.
You got my number in the chat box. If you think you want to do this, don't think about it. Remember how your buyers say, I'll think about it, and you get mad at your buyers when they say, I'll think about it. Don't think about it. Just do it. Okay. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Carl. You rock, Carl.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's bold's one of those things where the reason why you take it over and over again is because each time you take it, you're probably at a different spot in your business, and it's who you are as a person. So you pick up different things. And, the fortunate thing we have is, we can meet with different coaches and learn from them differently. Like Carl has his style. We had another one, he had his style. So if you haven't done bold, I know it's $400, but like you said, he has the loan program. It's completely worth it. I took it for the first time before I got this job in 2016, and Carl was my first MAPS coach, our first bold coach, and it really helped me with my business. I was really lost, and he really helped me make some breakthroughs. So not even just business to personal. What's that?
You were in Santa Cruz.
Yes. We had it in Lane's inner training room.
We crushed 80,000 people into a room that
it was so cool.
Every day. Really quick before I turn this over, when Rob said, I know it's $3.99, guys, I want to ask you a question. This company has taught and gone through this pandemic almost at no cost, right? For a lot of things to hold in. It's time to jump in and invest in yourself. What's your average commission? 15 to 20?
What's that? 20, 30,000.
30,000, right? Divide $3.99 by 20,000. If you don't think you could get one piece of business out of learning more skills, got to think about that, right? $3.99 is not a lot of money. It's $67 a class. I think I divided it. Okay, great. Text me if you're interested. Rob, let me know how you're making out.
All right. Thanks, Carl.
Thanks, everybody.
I just thought about that one last thing. The first bold I took with Carl, I was that student that wouldn't make the 100 calls. I would try. But the funny thing is the 30% that I did make actually increased my business. And so by having that accountability and having him push me, even though I wasn't the top student doing the 100 calls, that, like I said, that 30% got me business, and I got a couple listings. So it just pushes you as how far you want to go, but it's there for you, and that accountability. And that's how top agents crush it,
Right.
So
if you're making, like you said, just 20 more calls or 30 a week than you're doing now, you're going to get business off that. That's 120 more contacts in a month, right? That's over 1,400 in a year. So great. Thank you.
thanks, Carl.
All righty. Bye-bye.
So yeah, if you guys have any questions, call Carl. He's very accessible. The thing is, what you're getting a mega agent. You're getting a MAPS coach who's been around, someone who's top bold. He was our regional director, blew it out of the water, just was amazing. And now is a leader over in Los Gatos. So you're really getting a lot of talent there when you sign up for his class. So obviously you can tell I think highly of him. All right. Cindy, are you here?
I am here.
All right.
It's
Go
Red
ahead. Hit us.
Day. Whoop, whoop, Red Day. It's coming, people. And we're going to do it. We're doing it this year. So
Doing it.
we figured it out. And I spoke with the Second Harvest Food Bank folks, and they are not taking large groups because obvious. So what they said is that they have 9,000 pounds of food daily that they get packed that needs to get into cars within 48 hours. So that is where their need is the greatest. And bonus, it's outside in a parking lot. And it's all the time, honestly, not just on Red Day. They have a calendar. There's a master calendar that you go to, and I'll send Rob instructions so that he can send it out to the office to how to navigate to click through if you want to sign up with a buddy, if you want to sign up wherever, you know, is closer to your house or whatever on May 13th, which is Red Day. That would be fantastic. There's just so many people who have food insecurities in our valley. It's astounding and sad. And so, you know, we can't actually pack the boxes, but we can pack people's cars. And I think that the interface with the actual, you know, people seeing us and us seeing people actually receive the food is going to be really gratifying, in my opinion. So I'm pointing at it with my mouse, but you can't see it. I'm used to Zoom meetings. So on the bags are the different addresses of the sites that are hosting on May 13th. There are actually a couple more that didn't make it on there. They might have added a couple because I just checked the website today and there are 7, whereas there's only 5 bags on my slide. So as far as the ones that are on my slide, the first bag, Nortec Parkway, they have 6 slots. Each site typically has 15 slots per time slot for 15 volunteers. So the one at Canoas Gardens still has 15 people available that you can sign up. The one on Caudle has 9. The one on Samaritan has 7. There's one on Clare Street, Clarice, that has 9. Then there's also one that isn't on my sheet from 1:30 to 5:30 on Autobahn Drive. There's 2 slots there. And then there's one on White Road from 2 to 6 p.m. So a nice afternoon shift. And there's 15 slots available there. I know it's not the same, and it's, you know, we're pivoting, people. We're pivoting. So get your red shirt washed. If you don't have a red shirt, you know what? Talk to Crystal. She can get you a red shirt. But we want to, you know, this is our chance to serve the community and, you know, do some good. We always do good, but do extra good, and go ahead and, you know, get some food into cars and into hands. I think it's going to be really gratifying. You would just basically, it's really not that hard to navigate it. What you do is you go to Second Harvest Food Bank, which is oh my gosh, it's too early, shfb.org. And then you click volunteer, and then you click individual, and then it brings you up to a page, and I just click calendar because then you have to push it to May, go to the 13th, and then that's where all the slots are. Each person does have to sign up individually because you have to click through on the waiver, but it was really easy. I just did it. So super easy. They send you an email confirmation, and, you know, you show up at 8 in the morning to give food away. And that's about it. That's all I got. If you have any
question, Cindy, is it, you know, for us to get a good pictures like we used to do on Red Day with our red t-shirts, is it possible that a few of us sign up at the same place at the same time so we can get a good picture?
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking, is it would be fun if we signed up in little pods, and Crystal is going to keep track of all of the different sites. She might not know that. Rob mentioned that.
Doesn't know that yet. She will tomorrow.
So she's going to keep track of, which sites have availability still, basically. I know that Shirley and I just signed up at the Cambrian one, which is on Samaritan Place. They have 6 spots left. You just grab a buddy and sign up. That's the hard part, is that we're not going to get to be all together. But I mean, maybe we could meet at the office sometime during the day and try and do a group photo if there's a gap, maybe at noon. But I think that might be hard because people, of course, are working too. That's the hard part. But maybe 12:30, because it's right in between the 12 and the 1. I don't know. That might be a possibility, but we'll have to wait and maybe see when we get closer to see if we can get everybody into one place. But I fear that might not be possible.
And Cindy, we're not taking the food to people. We're going to be in a parking lot, and cars are going to come in, and we're going to put the bags of food in the cars, and those people are going to drive away.
Yes. And so they're going to be masked up in their car. We're going to be masked up outside. We're not really going to touch them. They're not going to touch us.
Okay.
And we're going to have the benefit of being outside, which is something that we wouldn't even get to do if we tried to volunteer inside. So I think that is nice. We sign up as individuals because right now they're not allowing groups. So I just saw Terry's thing just pop up. But yeah, no, they're not allowing groups right now. But I don't think they just revamped the whole website.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
Because of COVID, they're doing their best. They're nonprofit. So, but yeah, I hope to see you guys out there. I'm excited. I think it's a nice solution to kind of a wacky problem. And maybe next year we'll be able to get a little bit more togetherness going on. So
cool. Thank you so much, Cindy, for doing that. Yeah, I'll work with Crystal so she can keep track of that for you all. So when you sign up, so we know who's at what location. And in regards to meeting for pictures, yeah, we'll have to see what the COVID, what's going on, what's allowable, what's not allowable. It might be just at the locations that you're at. And then we'll send, my other thought is we might do it at the locations we're at. We'll send the pictures to Crystal, and then she can post them up on our Facebook.
We got to get somebody with a drone, and we all stand in the Keller Williams parking lot, all 6 feet apart, and get somebody's drone up there to take our picture.
I'll talk to Mike. Santa Clara is not real friendly right now. They're not friendly with us. All right. Thank you again, Cindy, and we'll continue to talk about this and fill up these slots and be supportive of Red Day and help out the community like we do every year. And thanks for putting it together. All right. I'm going to go through these classes this week. So we have a DocuSign class today with Kelly Cody and Grow Your Profit Share with Bill Kennedy. So you can learn more about passive income, learn more about what profit share looks like. Just speeding up so I can get to our speaker. John Morris has Building Out Your Own Brand. And then Mike will be talking about the residential purchase agreement, the current one. And we will have script practice this Friday. And I'm going to go through as we get to our speaker. So Carl, are you there? It's just Saul. So give me a second here.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, perfect. I'm going to stop my share, and that'll give you the ability to go ahead and share your slides.
All right. Very good. Thank you. Just let me know when you're ready.
Ready for you when you're ready.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Rob, for giving me the opportunity to speak to your group again. It's always a pleasure to work with you. And for those of you that don't know, I think I've known Rob for about, 20, 25 years now or
Probably.
something. Yeah, it's been a long time. kind of hard to believe. You haven't aged, but I sure have. Anyway. Hey, so, you know, for those of you that don't know, my name is Carl Warden. I am a tax deferral consultant. I work with a lot of real estate companies nationally. I've spoken at almost most every major firm across the United States. I love this new technology. Rob, I was doing a class last week in Carmel and one in Indiana on the same day. So I gotta love technology. The best part is I can do it from the comfort of my home. So it's just fantastic. Looks like you're doing the same. Unless you got this fancy screensaver behind you. Anyway.
I got a fancy screensaver. I'm in the office.
Well, I love the view back there.
Thank you.
So anyway, so you know, I've been doing tax deferral for quite some time, Rob, and it never seems to fascinate me or surprise me at just how expansive this opportunity really is. I've come to discover, having been a real estate investor for nearly 30 years, that one of the, you know, and being real estate licensed as well, that one of the major holdbacks for people selling real estate is, of course, the tax issue. Okay. I believe in a philosophy in the business of sales. You should know your client. And so I'm going to give you some statistics here that maybe you have or have not heard before that'll help you understand just kind of the magnitude of the opportunity you really have as a real estate professional. Okay. As you're on Bascom's, right?
Yep.
Ron? Yeah. So this might come as a big surprise, but you know, when you all take off today from the office, on either side of the road, take a look at the real estate, and you can even turn off on any street you want to, and just kind of, I want you to visualize this for a second. 50 to 55% of everything you see is owned by the baby boomer generation, which is crazy. Do you own the office that you're in there, Rob, or does somebody else own it?
Somebody else owns it.
Yeah. Do you happen to know if they're a baby boomer or not?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. So it's interesting. Now, let me give you some additional facts that's very interesting. 40% of the baby boomer generation actually has $0 saved for retirement. 40%. Okay. 41% have 0 to 250,000. Now, we live in the Bay Area. There's no way even $250,000 is going to last. But what I just got done explaining was that 81% of the baby boomers have $0 saved, yet 50 to 55% of everything you see on your drive home today is owned by the baby boomer generation. So what am I saying? I'm saying their retirement is in their real estate. That's where a lot of the baby boomers invested their money. Primary residence, second home, investment property, business assets, that's where their retirement is. And I would venture to say that for most of your agents, one of the more common objections that they get is the issue centered around capital gains taxes, right? Maybe. Okay. In fact, 80% of the baby boomers actually own real estate. Okay. So it's a pretty telling number. So let me give you an idea of really who I am and what I do. I am like I said, a tax deferral consultant. I carry many titles. I'm also a registered investment advisor. I manage a lot of money for my clients. Can you see my screen okay, Rob?
Not yet.
Oh, you can't? Oh, interesting. I just hit the play button. So all you can see is me?
We just see you.
You just see me. Interesting. How do I share screen on this? I guess I have to go to the
go to the bottom of your Zoom and hit share, and you should be good to go.
Yeah, I apologize, guys. Hang on a second here. You said the bottom of my screen?
Well, like on the little Zoom meeting projector thing, there should be like polls, chat, and then there'll be a little share screen thing.
Oh, interesting.
If you don't see it, you can share. You could send it to me, and I can put up for you.
Yeah, I really apologize for this, guys. I thought that I had this dialed in here. I just hit the share or the button there. All I see is I'm not looking at the right thing, obviously. I'm on my iPad too. Maybe that's part of the problem.
That can make it tricky.
Do you see something where it says participants chat?
I see
When you
Yeah.
hover your mouse over the lower bot, right in the middle of the screen, but lower. And there's a button that should say share screen.
I see mute, stop video, share content, participants, and
Share
more.
content. Share content. Maybe that one.
Oh, geez. Oh, you mean the one that said share content?
Yes. Hopefully that'll work.
Can you see me now?
We
right.
don't see anything.
There,
Oh, there it is.
There you go.
There it
That's
is.
probably a good thing.
Perfect.
Yeah, I can master the art of tax deferral. Don't ask me to do anything technical. All right. Now can you see me?
Yep.
Yep, we see your screen. That's perfect.
Okay. Okay, you can see my screen. Great. So like I said, I'm a registered investment advisor. For those of you that don't know, I'm not a financial advisor or stockbroker. Those are typically commission based. I'm an investment advisor registered with various states across the country. I manage a lot of assets for IRAs, 401ks, retirement accounts for would-be retirees or future retirees. I have been a real estate investor for nearly 30 years. I've done 18 personal 1031 exchange transactions to give you an idea. I am real estate licensed in the state of California. Not your competition. On the contrary, I'm actually applying for a position today, a position to become your tax deferral consultant. I'll help you understand what that means. I'm not interested, by the way, in participating in your transaction. Rather, I'm actually interested in helping you get the listing. So when a client tells you they have a tax issue, I want to come into the transaction and help you explain to the client what their options are. And I'll kind of elaborate on that a little bit. I am a 1031 exchange accommodator, 1031 exchange facilitator. I actually work with 2 different 1031 exchange accommodators at this point. Collectively, we do 200 to 250 1031 exchanges every month. So we're pretty entrenched in the 1031 exchange business. I'd like to point out that I think that gone are the days that all you do is the 1031 exchange. This might come as a big surprise, but I just attended a class the other day just for the heck of it to bone up on my skills. And they discussed 10 different options for deferring, avoiding, or reducing the tax on primary residence. A lot of you think, I'm a tax deferral consultant, so I must be talking about the 1031 exchange. Well, Rob can probably attest to this. 1031 exchanges probably represent about 5 out of 100 transactions, okay? The other 95 transactions are primary residence and second home, and what many of you don't realize, there's tax deferral options for those. There's ways that the clients can actually legally keep this money working for them, and a lot of people don't know. So, to kind of help you understand how I work with you. So you come across clients on a fairly regular basis as real estate professionals. If you're marketing, if you're doing what the other Carl was talking about and you're making phone calls, I can assure you that you're coming across clients who say they have a tax issue, okay? And what invariably ends up happening is you cause what I call the 4 major sins in sales, okay? And here's how you do it. You tell the client, go talk to the CPA, okay? And here's the 4 major sins. Number 1, you just told the client you don't have an answer, okay? Now, we're all in the business of sales, okay? And in the business of sales, you want to stay engaged with the client. You want to stay in contact with the client. Well, if you tell your client to go see somebody else, that's typically a non-starter, okay? So problem number 1 is you told the client you don't have an answer. In the business of sales, you always have to have the answer. The key word is have the answer. You don't necessarily need to know it, but you better have it, okay? Number 2, you sent the client away. I don't know how many listings you think you get if you keep sending your clients to somebody else. Problem number 3, this might come as a big surprise, but CPAs don't work in the area of tax deferral. They don't know anything about tax deferral options at all, typically. In fact, the 1031 exchange is probably the simplest tax deferral strategy out there, and most of them couldn't even recite the rules of the 1031 exchange. Problem number 4, CPAs are not on your team. They're not here to help you. In fact, some of you might have experienced where you sent the client to the CPA and the CPA sent the client to some other real estate agent that they know. So that's a major problem. And I would venture to say that out of 100 times you send the client to the CPA, you'd be lucky if 1 or 2 or 3 of them came back to you saying, I want to list the property. My CPA gave me answers. Okay. So what do? Very simple. We provide solutions and answers. And I'm not going to get into the gory details of all those, but we provide solutions and answers. Like I said, there's 10 different ways. There's actually quite a few more than that, but ways that you can avoid the taxes on the primary residence or second home. Okay, I have 13 different tax deferral, tax minimization, and tax avoidance strategies on my platform now. So we've grown. But in the process, we want to change your answer is the bottom line, guys. And I'll talk about that towards the end. Obviously we know about Prop 19 having passed. Hopefully some of you have attended some classes. The problem with Prop 19 is that although it solves the issue of property taxes, it does, with property taxes going up upon the disposition and the repurchase of a new property, it doesn't necessarily solve the issue around capital gains taxes. Okay, so most of you, have been around, or I don't know if most of you have been around. I've been around long enough. In fact, to give you an idea how old I am, Oak Ridge Mall was being built when I lived there. I actually played in the building of Oak Ridge Mall while they were building Oak Ridge Mall, believe it or not. So, but I've seen real estate prices escalate tremendously from the 70s to today, and many of the baby boomers still own that real estate. I'm using some fairly high numbers. We know that in the 70s and 80s, people didn't typically pay $500,000 for a property. Okay, they usually paid less, but today the values are substantially more. Okay, so many of you are aware of the fact that when you pay something for a property, if you make capital improvements into it, that gets added to basis, and basis is tax-free. Okay, what also is tax-free is if you lived in the property for 2 out of the last 5 years. If you're single, you get $250. If you're married, you get another $250. Okay, so you've got, essentially, when you look at the fact that you invested this amount of money into the property and you're ultimately selling it for this, there's a problem, and that's called the capital gains. Okay, so ultimately, whoops, pardon me, guys. Let's see if I can move this. There we go. So when I take a look at a property, if ultimately you decided you wanted to have me as part of your team as your tax deferral consultant, the very first thing I do is I assess what I call the anatomy of the deal. Okay, so as we showed earlier, you have the purchase price plus the capital improvements. You've got a basis of $700,000. Okay, of course you get the exclusions, and then you have the difference, which is the capital gains. Okay, what I'm here to help you understand is that I'm actually able to show clients how they can extract this money out of the property tax-free while capturing this totally tax deferred. Okay, I'm not going to go into detail of how exactly I do that today, but if you want to learn, I'm certainly willing to spend some time with you individually. Okay, but ultimately what happens at the end of the day is when we're talking about Prop 19 again, if you have this huge capital gains tax, $800,000 of capital gains is quite a bit, but it's not as much as many of the houses that are out there. You can expect to pay, somewhere between 0 and 20% federal. You've got 13.8% state tax of California, state of California tax, and then you have Obamacare at 3.8%. So collectively, it's about 37.1%. And if you happen to be a real high income earner, the sale of a piece of real estate can actually be added to income, and ultimately it can cause you to go into alternative minimum tax. Again, what we're able to do is we're able to show how you can extract the $700,000 to be able to buy the downsized home, and we can capture the rest of it totally tax deferred. Okay, so you do the math. I mean, ultimately 37% of $800,000, about 250 grand. Actually, it's more like 300 grand. And that would be money you'd never see again. But in this case, with some of our strategies, we're able to show people how to keep it. So one of the, people ask, how do I use you, Carl? Well, going back to the concept of the 4 major sins, we'd like to change your answer as our ultimate objective. And obviously, you would need to probably talk with me some more so we can discuss how we can work together or when you come across scenarios. But next time your client says, I have a capital gains tax issue, do yourself a favor, don't send them to the CPA first, okay? Now, trust me, the client absolutely is going to talk to their CPA, okay? They have to. The CPA is there to really assess how much in taxes the client would actually owe if they sold and cashed out. And that becomes kind of a basis for us moving forward. If it's a small amount, they don't need us. And then you can get the listing and we can help the client come to that conclusion. If it's a large amount, we can help the client avoid the tax and again, help you get the listing. But this way, you're not telling the client, go see the CPA. Next time the client says to you, I have a capital gains tax issue, maybe you might want to respond with this answer right here, right? Well, if you could defer or avoid paying the taxes owned, would you sell your property, right? If you could sell the property and cash out and keep all the money, would you sell? And if they answer yes, well, you have a tax deferral consultant on your team. How about we set up a time and have a discussion, okay? And then ultimately, when I get them on the phone, you might be thinking, hey, Carl's just going to try to sell them something. They're my client. I don't want somebody else hopping in here and trying to sell my client something. Wrong. Our objective is education. In fact, part of the problem with you sending the client to the CPA is, guess what? They don't even know what questions to even ask. Okay. We actually have developed something called the TRQ, Tax Reduction Questionnaire, is what that stands for. And the tax reduction questionnaire is actually designed to eliminate the need for me. If I can establish that your client or help your client establish that they don't have much in the way of taxes, guess what? They don't need me. And collectively, you and I just helped eliminate that as an excuse for not selling. Okay. And that's what we want to do, right? We want to help them and create a win-win situation. You get the listing, they get the sale, and they get to keep all the money. Okay. And that's a win-win situation. So, going back to the concept of 4 major sins, we want to solve those problems. Instead of telling the client, you don't have an answer, instead of telling the client, go talk to the CPA, bring them to us. It solves the first problem, and that is you don't have an answer. You do. You have one right away, and that's us. We'd like to work with you. Problem number 2, sending the client away. You're not going to do that anymore. Ultimately, what you want to do is you want to set up a call with you, me, and the client on the phone. Keep the client engaged with you. You're the one providing the solutions. Do not send them to me. Bring them to me. And again, if you want to talk to me some more about this and how to do this, I'll certainly work with you on it. Problem number 3, CPAs don't know anything about tax deferral options. Well, don't worry, we do. That's all we do is tax deferral. We'll help you get the listing. CPAs can't necessarily do that. And problem number 4, the CPA is not on your team. I am. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you get listings. Rob has invited me here today to help him help his office get more listings. That's ultimately what we're here to do. So because I'm a narcissist, apparently, I've got my picture up here twice. But there's my contact information. You can get a hold of me in one of these 2 ways. If you want to email me, there you go, carl@deferredtax.com. And there is my 800 number. So I'll take any questions if you have them. Rob, I can turn it back over to you. I don't know if you have how to get this thing back over to you.
Yeah, go ahead and stop the share, but I'll go ahead. There's a couple questions for you, Carl. With the latest package being talked about by the current administration, they are going to make changes affecting capital gains. Just what sort of things have you heard about that, Carl?
So as far as, they are talking about reducing the capital gains. They're talking about, from an inheritance standpoint, capping it at $1 million above and beyond your basis. Okay. So in other words, if you paid $500,000 for a property, and it's worth 1.5 when you die, your beneficiaries will get a step up to the 1.5. You'll actually have no tax bill. Okay.
Mhm.
The problem is, what if the value of the estate or the asset is $3 million, right? Well, you get to step up to the 1.5. The beneficiaries are going to have to pay the tax, possibly estate tax, on the additional 1.5. So it's very interesting because, you know, if Rob, if I was a selfish man, I would have voted for Biden. Okay, because I saw all this stuff happening. In my opinion, and this is not political, I believe it's a wealth destroyer. I believe when we have the ability to work hard all of our lives, which we pay tax on our income, or we pay tax on everything we purchase, you know, I believe it's a benefit for us to be able to pass what we worked hard for to our children. But they're talking about essentially taxing that now and not taxing it lightly. They're talking about taxing it substantially. And, you know, they're not stupid. I mean, guys, the value of the United States of America, believe it or not, if we sold it, put a for sale sign in the middle of it and sold it to some other country, is about $170 trillion. Okay. The baby boomer generation, which they're trying to pass all these laws to kind of target this passing, they own, what did I say? 50 to 55% of everything you see. Okay. Where do you think they're trying to get the money from to pay for all of this infrastructure and all this, that, and the other stuff? They're trying to get it from the baby boomers, which essentially means they're trying to take it away from you and me as potential beneficiaries. Now, again, you know, some of you are like, hey, that's fine. Great. Some of us are like, hey, you know, we've worked hard for this already. We paid all this money. That's not fair. But, you know, anyway, regardless, here nor there, the fact of the matter is, guys, and this is something that a lot of people don't realize, the wealthy, they're still not going to pay the tax. You want to know why? Because they have guys like me on their team. This is what we do. We show people how to keep all the money. One of these strategies that we do is a trust. We can capture all this money in a trust. There's ways to do it. And guess what? The beneficiaries won't pay the tax on the inheritance on that. I have strategies for that. So this is my wheelhouse. This is what we do. You got another question? Sorry, I won't ramble on the next time.
No, you're fine, Carl. There was just a question if they could get a copy of your slide deck.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll send that over to you, Rob. You can hand it to your team.
Perfect.
And you contact me, ask me questions. I love you know, working with real estate agents nationally. I help real estate agents get listings all the time. That's what I do all day long, every day.
Cool. Any other questions? I know we're getting close to the end of our meeting time. Nope. Well, awesome, Carl. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to give us a conversation and give us some ideas.
Rob, I have a question.
Yes, please.
This is Jenny Moore. How do you make money partnering with us?
Oh, very good question. So ultimately, I help you get the listing, right? I help the client keep all the money. And ultimately, as an investment advisor, I end up managing that money. It doesn't happen 100% of the time, but it happens pretty close to that. So ultimately, you know, there's a lot of financial advisors, Jenny, that they just do IRA and 401k rollovers. Okay. Well, the problem with that is that only about 20% of the baby boomers' net worth is in IRAs and 401ks and cash. The lion's share of their retirement is actually sitting in hard assets like what we're talking about today. So I felt if I was going to truly be a very good investment advisor, that not only would I provide advice on the 20%, I'd provide advice on the 80% as well. So unlike most investment advisors who are working 20%, I'm able to work with 100% and truly provide the education and information that these clients need.
So to summarize, you basically are working on spec for us, hoping that you please us and help us with building business. So we call you again and again and again, and you're looking for those clients who are so impressed with what you can do that they become your clients in other categories.
I couldn't have said it better myself. And Jenny, to elaborate a little bit on it. I'm very happy to say that my business is where every one of you want your business to be. I would say somewhere between 95 and 100% of the business that I get now is referral based. I do hardly any marketing at all. I get referrals from all over the country. I mean, so it's, you know, I do everything on a conditional basis. So what does conditional mean? Well, it means very simply this: Interview me, talk to me. If you don't like me, you didn't pay anything. Interview me, talk to me, do your research on what I'm telling you, have your CPA talk to me and my team. If none of you like me, you don't pay me. It's that simple. So it's conditional basis. A great question.
Thank you. One last question, since I'm on audio only, I can't see anything on your screens. Can you just tell us your contact information for anyone else on audio only?
Yeah. So my 800 number, you'll get my deck too. Rob will hand that out, so you'll be able to view it at your leisure. But my 800 number is 877 tax strategy. Obviously, you're not going to spell out strategy. It's STRA. My main office line is 408-261-2275. And my email is Carl, CARL, at defertax, DEFERTAX.com.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. It's an honor to be here today. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk with all of you.
Awesome. Thanks, Carl. I'm going to wrap us up just because I know we're over time. Thank you so much for your time today. I'll get your card deck out. Anybody has any other questions, feel free to reach out to Carl and he'll be able to answer you guys. And thank you all. Have a great week. And next week will be our regional team meeting, which will be on Wednesday. You'll get a text reminder on Monday so that you don't forget. All right, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks. Bye.